All right, it is 2:05. We are going to get started. Don't want to take up too much time in your day. So, first off, thank you all so much for joining us today for the Spring 2025 Admission Information Session for USC's Department of Regulatory and Quality Science. Thank you so much for taking the time. My name is Kyle Ryan. I am the program specialist, outreach and recruitment here for the department. Not only do we have a lot of our esteemed faculty here joining us, but also some of our staff in the department. And really, today is all about making sure that you get all of the information that you need so that you can walk away from today's session having a better understanding of not only who we are, but if our program is a fit for you or not, depending on what you're looking for as far as your pathway in the future. So we have a lot of good information to go through. If you didn't hear before, down below you will see the Q&A section. That is a great place to put in all of your questions because that's what today's all about, answering your questions. If we're not able to get to it right in the moment, at the end of the session, we will have plenty of time to go back and answer all of the questions that you have. So thank you again. We're going to get going. So right off the bat, we're going to jump into a poll because I want to hear from you right now. Where are you tuning in from today? So, if you don't know, we have students that come to us from all over the world. Not only do we have students that are right in our backyard here in Los Angeles, but students from all over California, all over the US, and from countries all over the world. So, we want to hear from you. I'm already seeing a lot of answers coming in. It looks like outside California, but in the USA is leading the poll at the moment. So we have a lot of USA, but we also have outside the USA. So I see we have about four people with us today that are international students. We have a lot of international students in our program, so you are definitely not alone in looking at programs that are in the US and in USC here. So this is great. Thank you all so much. We're going to end the poll here. And I want to kick things off today. And we're going to first talk about what we're going to go through today. So we have a good amount in our agenda. Not only are we going to go through what is regulatory and quality sciences, we're going to go through a lot of the different areas of our program, from experiential training to our scholarships, to the Regulatory Consulting Center, the Kim Center, student research, the career and the professional support that we offer, all the admission requirements and deadlines that you need to know coming up in the near future. Additional tips, we're going to go through USC as a whole as far as graduate school, and then we're going to close things out with Q&A. So again, thank you all so much for being here. We're going to kick things off. I'm going to hand it over to the chair of our department, Dr. Anju Pacifici. Hello, Dr. Pacifici.
Hello, Kyle. Thank you. It is great to be with all of you today and tell you about our program. My background is in pharmacy and life sciences. I'm sure that is something that many of you have in common with me. And my industry experience is in clinical trials and in international product development. Now, I, along with our faculty and staff, am dedicated to educating the next generation of professionals in the regulated sector. So, if next, please. Oh, can you go back? Sorry. Go back one. Thank you. So we have, as you saw from Kyle's presentation, we have an agenda that's pretty full. So I can't go through everything that our program has to offer. So if you want more information, our website is the best place to get more detailed information. Next. So when I was in industry, I wonder why it was that in school I wasn't trained about this really exciting career path. So When I came back to school, I was part of this program when it was at the very beginning of being started and being established. And our vision is to develop skilled professionals for regulated sectors to shape the future of global health. And our mission is to provide unparalleled education and experiential training to empower current and future professionals engaged in developing and commercializing regulated health products. Next, please. And our program is a combination of academic education and experiential training. And we do that through a number of different pathways. We have 5 different master's programs, as you can see here. You can also, if you're not ready to embark on a master's degree, that you can pursue a graduate certificate, which is 12 units. So master's encompasses 32 to 36 units, whereas grad certificates are 12 units each. If you pursue your grad certificate and you want to go ahead and move on to master's, our program recognizes all 12 units. So you can kind of move up in a stepwise fashion. And then the Doctor of Regulatory Science program is for seasoned industry professionals, for those with about 10 years of field experience and would like to pursue a doctoral degree. Next, please. So our curriculum is composed of courses that are focused on various aspects of the regulated sector. So we have courses that are focused on drugs and biologics, devices, foods, clinical trial management, regulatory writing. And for our students to complete their degree program, they take a few of the core courses, and then they can customize their path by taking specific electives that are in line with their interests. Next, please. We're very excited about our program because our graduates do really well. And the reason why our graduates do really well is that the demand for regulatory professionals are very high now and is estimated to continue to increase something like 8 to 9% per year going forward. The demand for regulatory professionals is well above the expected increase in most other scientific and technical fields. And so far, there is a mismatch between job postings calling for advanced degrees and the number of regulatory professionals who hold advanced degrees. So we're kind of in a optimal space right now where supply and demand works in our favor. There's a high demand for trained professionals and low supply. And there is also a growing demand for regulatory professionals trained in international topics. And that is because companies that are developing these products, therapeutic products, are developing these products for patients located everywhere around the world. Next, please. And where are the jobs? So the regulated sector is pretty vast. It's an entire ecosystem composed of not only companies that manufacture and bring these products to market, but also clinical trial sites that conduct clinical trials, the startup companies, startup biotech companies, startup medical device companies, even venture capital firms looking to invest in this sector are looking for those who are well-versed in the language of regulatory science. A number of our students graduate and go on to work in the FDA, either US FDA or FDA in their home country. Next, please. So there is a demand for professionals to fill the roles that are open right now. But we also need a global workforce to develop, manufacture, and market therapeutic products for tomorrow. What does the future hold? Next slide, please. Well, the future is represented by products that are really at the cutting edge today, but also products that we can't even imagine. Many of the products that you see on the screen here, I couldn't even have imagined when I was in pharmacy school. So these include products that are targeted for precision medicine or personalized medicine. The wearable and mobile apps, they can help manage health and therapeutic products. Combination products that combine sensors and drug delivery systems and artificial intelligence. Those can actually even be connected to the cloud, and all of that could be attached to your body so that you don't have to prick the finger, get a blood drop, and put it in the sensor, draw out a volume of insulin, and do that all in separate manner. You can all have it in as an AI-driven loop systems. Next, please. We find that the industry, the regulated industry, is very healthy, and not only do our graduates do good work to improve global health, but also they make a good living. Our objective is to make sure that our graduates are well trained so that they can have a fulfilling career, being financially self-reliant and being able to have an upper trajectory in their careers. And you can see with each promotion, you get a significant raise, and that the pay has been increasing year over year. Next, please. And the top graph is the base salary, and the bottom graph really is base salary plus bonuses and incentives. So it's if the company is successful bringing new products to the market, everybody benefits. Next, please. And education pays. We find that those with higher education, advanced degrees, do better in terms of earning a higher salary. But also the thing to keep in mind is that because of that, many of the competition in the workforce have master's degrees as well. So we find that not only do you need a bachelor's degree, but really if you show up in your workplace, a lot of your peers may already have master's degrees. So having the advanced degree will position you to be competitive in the workforce. Next, please.
Right, thank you. We have a little bit more from Dr. Pacifici, but we are going to jump in to another poll question. So everybody get ready here. So our next poll question, what is most important to you when choosing a graduate program? What's most important? Is it the faculty expertise? Is it the career services and alumni network? Is it the academic rigor and curriculum? Or is it the work-life balance? So we're already getting a lot of answers in. It looks like for the lead, either career services or academic rigor and curriculum here. We'll give it just another second to put in your answers. All right, it looks like academic rigor and curriculum, and then career services and alumni network is what is most important to most people here, which is great because no matter what area you think is the most important when looking for a grad program is exactly what we offer. So going back to Dr. Pacifici to talk about what makes our program unique.
Thank you. Yes, so the academic rigor, you will hear about it over and over again in our program because we do have very high standards for our academic rigor, and you will discover that when you arrive. And and I'm glad you hold that to high standards yourself. So what makes our program unique? Well, our faculty have 20 years or more of industry experience, and many still are involved in industry work. Our guest speakers, whom we have maybe over 100 of guest speakers, are actually current industry professionals. So they bring their experience and knowledge from the field right into our classrooms. We have strong relationships with industry to help students get internships and jobs. Our courses are held on weekends and meet about every 3 weeks. And the reason why that's important is because many of our students, once they start our program, will secure an internship or a full-time job. And this way they can work and continue their education with us. The other important part is that when I mentioned that we have many industry speakers, well, the industry speakers are working during the week, and so this allows them to come and speak to our students on the weekends. Ability to customize either a full-time or part-time schedule, that's really important, and experiential training in industry projects, translational science, and regulatory research, which you'll hear about later. We hope that you will all come and sit in this chair and give this testimonial as Nora has done. Next, please. Next. Oh, sorry. Oh, here we go. So you can see our faculty, we have full-time faculty, adjunct faculty, secondary appointment faculty, as well as industry speakers. And you will hear from a few of them today and meet the rest at a later time. Next, please. And wonderful staff. We have our staff in the student management stream, curriculum stream, and co-curricular stream. And they're just really, really wonderful, each and every one of them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to Dr. Pacifici, once again, the chair of our department here. So now we're going to turn it over to Dr. Susan Bain to chat with you more about experiential training and the scholarships that we offer.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Kyle Ryan has two first names.
I know.
And it happens all the time.
Very confusing.
Not the first and not the last time, I'm sure. But sorry about that, Kyle. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of those programs that Dr. Pacifici was mentioning that offers you experiential training in our program. And that's what we call the Team-Based Regulatory and Quality Solutions Program, otherwise known as TRACS. And what this is a program where we go out and find projects that industry needs help with. So we have a number of industry partners who will come to us with specific projects that they need help with. And this is because they're resource constrained, or they're under a time commitment, or they just may not have expertise in a specific area. And they come to us and ask for help with their projects. So what we do is put together a team of anywhere from 4 to 6 students to work on the project for the entire semester. At the end of the semester, we give them a report or whatever the deliverable is, and we do a presentation to the company on their project. So this allows you to have real world experience, because this is actually something that a company is working on right now at their corporation. So this, it's oftentimes cutting edge. It is always confidential. We work on some existing products, some changes to existing products. We're working on some new products that are not yet approved. We're working on products that are in clinical trials. We're working on all kinds of things. We're working on medical devices as well as drugs and biologics. So we kind of go across the board, depending on what companies need help at what time. So we run these all year round. So every semester I have a new group of projects. And so we typically do not take people coming into the program brand new. You have to have at least one semester of coursework behind you. Otherwise, you, you really can't contribute too much to the team. So we do restrict it in that sense. But certainly you're welcome to apply if once you pass that first semester. Excuse me. So again, the goal of this is to provide the students experience on a real world problem. And it's almost like having an internship because it lasts, 4 or 5 months. And it helps the companies, the industry out there, because they're getting a project completed that they need work on. They're also getting a chance to know you. So oftentimes job offers come out or internship offers come out of these projects because the companies have had an entire semester to get to know you, get to know your work ethic, get to know your work product, and your capabilities and your interactions on the team. So it's a win-win for everyone, and we really enjoy doing it, and it's always something new and different every semester. Next slide, please. So this is just an overview of how it works, where we we identify a corporate sponsor. They decide they want to place a project with us. They assign someone from their company to work with us, and that means they meet with us once a week and find out where we're at on the project, answer any questions, give any guidance that we might need. And then on our side, we take the project in, put together, you apply for the project, and it is competitive. I will tell you that is for sure. And a team is selected, and then we begin to work. And this does require a commitment of 12 to 15 hours per week per person. So it's like having a part-time job. So not to be taken lightly. Which brings up another point. I generally do not put people on these teams who are working or in an internship already. Number one, because of confidentiality and issues there, companies aren't really willing to take people who are working someplace else. And then secondly, if you're going to school full time and you're working and you try to do this, something's going to give, unfortunately. And we don't want any of those three to give. So we generally keep this for people who are not in an internship and not working at the time. Next slide, please. So these are just some of the sponsors that we've had to date. Excuse me. Some of these names are on there multiple times because they've put multiple projects with us. So right now I'm talking to a couple of big pharmas. We're talking to Thermo Fisher. We're talking to AbbVie. I talked today to Astellas. I also talked today to Medtronic. So we're working hard to bring these projects in. Next slide, please. So switching gears a little bit to scholarships. I know this is something that a lot of people are interested in. And we do offer scholarships. They're generally $5,000 each. And we offer them in the fall each year. Occasionally we'll have one or two come up in the spring, but mostly they're going to be announced and given in the fall. And these are for you to use toward tuition the following semester. So you can see here we have named scholarships, named meaning those are in a company's name. So the companies I was just talking to you about in the TRACS program, they pay for us to work on these projects, and the money that they give to the department for us to work on these projects goes to administrative costs if there's anything we need to buy for the project. But after that, all the money that's left over goes into our scholarship fund. So we're able to use this 100% as a give back to the students. So that's why it's named scholarships. So these are scholarships given in the name of the company who donated the money. Okay. We have department funded scholarships, and then we have industry scholarships. I have that in reverse probably. The name scholarship is one scholarship that is given in the name of a former student that we had who unfortunately passed away before she finished her doctorate degree. So the name scholarship is in her name, Aiko, and we give that scholarship to one of the doctoral students once a year. The industry-sponsored scholarships are those scholarships coming from the industry sponsors for the TRACS program. Next slide, please.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Bain. We appreciate it. We're going to move on to Dr. Terry Church to take it over and talk about the Translational Regulatory Consulting Center.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kyle. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Terry Church, and like Dr. Bain, we are both graduates of this program. So we have quite a bit of knowledge to share on what it's like to be a student in this program, but also what the prospects are afterwards. And the best part is now both Dr. Bain and I get to teach in this program, so that's always a plus. As you've heard already, regulatory science is a very vast enterprise, and our program will provide you with skills that are necessary to be successful in this environment. I want to talk to you a little bit about our international students. We do have a career plan for them, and this is our blueprint, starting with their admissions criteria and beginning at USC RegSci. You can then transition into TRACS after, as you've heard from Dr. Bain, after at least one semester in, which is our in-house program, and it's during the weekdays. We also help students who are interested in the Curricular Practical Training Program, or CPT, which is after 9 months at school, and you're allowed then to take an internship in the industry. Then you have graduation, the big day that everyone looks forward to, and then you can begin OPT, or Optional Practical Training. For STEM programs like ours, the duration is 3 years currently. Working visas or residence applications continue to garner regulatory experience if you're able to get a visa. Next slide, please. With our regulatory science research programs, one of the things that you are able to do, all of our RegSci students are eligible. You have to have registered or completed at least one RegSci course, and if not, we have a course that you can enroll in order to fulfill that requirement. You have to devote roughly 10 hours a week towards work on projects. Many of these are group projects, and this is in our consulting center. You also need to participate in the RegSci Journal Club via Zoom or on-site, depending on its availability from noon to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. And throughout the semester, you need to create at least a 1-hour presentation and provide a couple of news updates during the Journal Club itself. There are weekly meetings for the for the consulting team, and they meet via Zoom, roughly 1 to 2 p.m. on Wednesdays as well. And we have quite a few examples of things that people have done, like QSR, pre-IND packages, and even regulatory intelligence that they participated with. Next slide, please. The idea with the Consulting Center is to help enhance specific professional experiences and also give you a set of skills that make you very, very valuable in the workforce. Things like integrating corporate life experiences during weekdays, fostering a team building spirit, cultivating public speaking, which is a very good talent to have, facilitating a transition to industry, internships and positions, and providing internships for the first 9 months. It also offers a buffer for OPT transition for students who are international. Next slide, please. So I'm going to continue and switch gears a little bit and talk about the Kim Center for International Regulatory Science. Next slide, please. The DK Kim International Center for Regulatory Science is a very unique space. Its mission is to apply regulatory science to regulatory and health solutions globally. Now, that's a big statement. So what it really intends to do is, as an educational and research institution, to really meet the needs of professionals with the knowledge and expertise to navigate complex international regulatory landscapes, both in industry and in agencies. The goal is to provide training in regulatory science to individuals with a scientific background and also offer collaborative research and experiential opportunities for students at all levels. A lot of what is done is built on a foundation of academic research-based activities that really are intended to meet a diverse group of healthcare stakeholders' interests and needs. Next slide, please. To kind of put into practice, there are a few things to keep in mind, and this is the cluster approach that we have for our Kim Center activities. In the center part, the gray area, this is kind of what gets done on a regular basis through our educational programs. This relates to things like our doctoral dissertation, our partnership with the CTSI group on campus, RegSci fellowships, capstones, and even FR Path projects. Within that, you need to have a few things. You need to have connections and also capacity in order for this type of innovation to be successful. And with capacity building, we're doing agency outreach. We have our APEC training and also our CTSI consortium. Our connections lead to integrated publications, academic relations, and local forums where we can share and disseminate our information. And finally, we also work closely with consulting cluster, which would be our Translational Regulatory Consulting Center and our Regulators Solution Center. Next slide, please. To give you an idea of some of the innovation that has been done through this program, these are a few of our projects from our students. I won't belabor it by going through each and every one, but I will highlight a couple of them for you. So Jordan Jarrus, for example, he's understanding the role of ICH guidelines in medicine development with implications for inclusion of unhoused populations. We have Victoria Magar, who is looking at regulatory gaps in biosimilar approvals, comparative analysis of select agent biosimilars in the Americas and in the US. And as you can see, we have quite a good showing of research in this group. Next slide, please.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Church. Now we are moving on to hear from Karen Manrique about research team and co-curricula opportunities.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen. Thanks, Kyle. Next slide, please. Okay, so our regulatory science research team is a group made up of undergraduate, graduate, and some PharmD students. They don't all necessarily come from the School of Pharmacy, but they join our group with the intention of doing self-directed research, and they are paired with one of our faculty members along with myself. And in this group, they learn things like develop a research question and the methodology to answer that question. And then they do some data analysis and come to some conclusions, and then they aggregate all that information and see if they can submit to a national conference or a local one here at USC, and even go on to publish manuscripts. In this group, they also learn how to do oral presentations, elevator pitches, and so forth. Next slide, please. This is currently our team for this semester. There's about 30 or so students. They do research in different areas like cancer research, with research with unhoused populations. They do studies on off-label use of prescription drugs. And the research that they do helps us identify gaps or challenges in the regulatory field and how it applies to clinical research. And some of our students even go on to create policy briefs. So those are just the kinds of things that occurs in our group. Also, each semester we do a team outing so people can network and get to know each other. And from this, they can also go on to collaborate in other works of research. Next slide. And so if anyone has any questions, my email is on the screen. I'll be happy to answer anything. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Karen. So now we're coming to another poll break. So get ready on those keyboards. We're going to put up another question on your screen. So, what is your current professional status? Are you currently working full-time, part-time? Are you looking for work? Have you just recently graduated, maybe from an undergrad program or from a graduate program? Or are you currently an undergrad? All right. So it looks like we have a lot of working full time, which is incredible. We have 21 people in here who are currently have a full-time job. So that's good to know that most of our classes are on the weekends. So you're able to keep working and go to school to make that work for you. That's exactly why we do it. We have a few looking for work, and we have some currently in an undergrad program. So thank you so much for being a part of our poll there. So moving on, we are going to turn it over to Lee Grant, Student Services Advisor, to talk with you more about career and professional development.
Hello, everyone. Uh, Thank you for your patience. I'm trying to get most of the Q&A questions answered there in the chat, but if I didn't get to it, we'll definitely get to you at the end. So for career and professional development, our department offers many different types of support for students and alumni. It doesn't go away once you graduate. The next few slides, we're going to go over some of them, but you can take a look at this cog wheel right here. Some things, the annual career event, which we hold every fall. We invite companies to come and meet with our students. We also have a pretty active LinkedIn page, internal job board, and a few other things. We'll go into more detail. Next slide. So the LinkedIn, we are on LinkedIn. It's a pretty big group. It does require invitation or approval to join. Members of this group have the opportunity to connect and network with current students and alumni. Again, you don't get away from us fully. Our alumni family is pretty big. Everybody is there to see new and innovative courses being offered by the department. We also get a lot of our job postings from our alumni, so it's definitely a good reason to check out the LinkedIn page and join us. Next slide. Our internal job board, like I said, a lot of our alumni will share opportunities that come their way, whether their company is hiring or they have an internship position available. We do get a lot from our alumni. Also with companies that we've been able to make relationships with, either through alumni getting positions in those companies, or we have relationships with tracks due to Dr. Bain. So we do send out these notices every once in a while. When we receive them, they come to your email. And that also does not go away once you graduate. You are still welcome to see and apply for those internal job listings. Next slide. Next is workshops. We do try to do a couple, especially with the career event every fall. We'll do an interview preparation, resume workshops, where we will have our faculty review your resumes and actually critique them and give you some good advice. These faculty who do our reviews are the same faculty that worked in industry. They've been hiring managers before. They know exactly what to look for. So really great opportunity for our students, and that's always pretty popular. Next. Sorry, I thought I got rid of all of these little animations, but I didn't. Thank you, Kyle. Next is the employer info sessions. So these are nice in that instead of a career fair where a bunch of different companies come and you just kind of have to talk to everybody, this is dedicated time for an employer. It's done virtually over Zoom, usually around noon, so you can catch it during your lunch break. And we get about 45 to an hour of learning from the company, whether it's an open position they're promoting or just company culture. They'll be able to answer questions. And I think we've had a couple info sessions where it turned into hearing their stories, how they went from looking for a job to the position that they had then in that company, which was also really interesting. So whether or not it's because they have an open job position, they're still great, great info sessions to join. Next. And now the annual career event. The department holds an annual career event during the fall term. It's open to students and alumni. Again, we have had several alumni come back, usually if they graduated in spring or summer and they're still kind of hunting. Yeah, more than welcome to come back in fall and say hi to us. Students have the opportunity to introduce themselves, network, learn about different companies and career opportunities with each employer. You can see the companies that we've had previously over different career events. Some of them might be familiar from the tracks sponsors that Dr. Bain has mentioned. So we do try to forge these relationships with our industry cohorts and alumni that often get positions at these industry and just bring that connection even further. We do require that students bring a resume and be prepared to maybe get an interview on site. Next. Oh, this is just a little bit more about our employer info sessions. These are some somewhat recent ones from the last year or so. We had Amgen, Network Partners Group, and Edwards Life Sciences. All of them are super nice. That was a great time to have them talk to our students. They have the opportunity to meet the hiring managers if they're on the presentation. A lot of them, again, are graduates of our program. And next. So this is actually just a short clip from one of our videos about one of our alumni is talking about her job experience after she has graduated. I don't know if we can start that.
I'm Amelia, and I'm a recent graduate of the Regulatory Science Master's program. I graduated last summer, and I'm here to share my story with you today. So I feel like I really came into regulatory science by trial and error. I thought I wanted to work in biotech, and I wondered if I needed a PharmD or a PhD in order to do so. So after some Googling, like a true millennial, I found the regulatory science program on the USC website, and that really piqued my interest. It was like all of my passions in one thing. It was science, business, government affairs, both in the US and abroad. And when I glass-doored the regulatory affairs jobs, I noticed the pay was well within a range I was comfortable with. I also realized I could work and get more experience and earn money while also pursuing my master's, since the classes were during the weekends. So I applied and was accepted into the program. Frequently, the program sent out internship opportunities, and within a few months of being in the program, I was working 2 internships, one with a small biotech company focusing on toe fungus, and another as a clinical research coordinator working in irritable bowel disease, where I worked with patients and doctors and pharmaceutical companies sponsoring clinical trials. Even with only a few months of courses under my belt, I felt well prepared for the internship interviews and also the job duties. And after just 1 year in Reg Sci courses, I was confident that if I wanted to apply for medical or pharmacy school, I would be awarded an interview because I had a really comprehensive understanding of how products are tested and used in patients. For me, I didn't want to do that because I really fell in love with regulatory science and I just wanted to learn more. The Reg Sci program gave me the tools and abilities to even conduct and present my research. You can see the picture here on the slide, which really helped further my public speaking and critical thinking skills. After completing the program and graduating with my master's, I wanted to work for a pharmaceutical company to see drug development from just a molecule to product approval. So I used my connections with USC, and within a couple months of looking and interviewing, I accepted a role at Gilead. Actually, when I was interviewing, a former student of the USC Reg Sci program was even on my interview panel, and this made me really thankful for my #Trojan family. It was really nice to connect with someone like that. In my current role as a Senior Regulatory Affairs Associate, I help with activities across the product life cycle, like annual safety reporting, to helping prepare investigational new drug applications in order to begin clinical trials, and serving as FDA's first point of contact for Gilead. I started at Gilead back in September as a regulatory associate too, and was quickly able to move into a more senior role and I can see a path for me to advance further. Having a master's has already shown me that I was able to advance quickly in my career since I had the necessary skills needed to succeed in industry. Problem solving, familiarity with searching for information on the FDA website, and presenting. As I look at the degrees of folks in industry, I would say that most people have some form of graduate degrees, and the people with degrees in regulatory science are able to go to very senior roles. My specialized degree also sets me apart from my peers, and I feel really confident that I have a thorough understanding of drug development. I feel like well prepared for the role I'm in. Overall, I guess I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities that the master's degree opened up for me, which wouldn't have been available without it.
All right. Well, that was a great video. Always like to hear good things. Next. So for admission requirements, I know after all of that, please tell me how I can apply. Let me get in right now. So we have on our website, which Kyle, do you mind popping our website in the chat? We have big red apply buttons everywhere. So it's right there for you. For admission, we do require to completely fill out the application online, 2 letters of recommendation, an updated resume, a personal statement, and official transcripts. If you received your degree from a non-English speaking country, we do require an English proficiency test score as well. Next. So before you apply, make sure, especially if you do need that English proficiency test score, that you schedule those tests way in advance. If you still have one for the past 2 years, I believe they're still good, but definitely get those ahead of time. That can really stall your application process. Resumes and your CV, make sure that it is up to date, including if I've had several students who made their resume while they were still matriculating. They have to update it. They have graduated now. So make sure your resume or CV is up to date as possible. Your recommendation letters, make sure you request those early. That's another thing that really stalls the application process, is we're waiting on those last recommendation letters. And the application deadlines, we do have application cycles every term, summer included, so spring, fall, and summer. Next slide. Oh, this is a little bit more about English proficiency. We do accept TOEFL, IELTS, and PTE. We do not accept Duolingo. I am getting a few questions about that. Unfortunately, USC does not accept Duolingo as an English test. Next slide. There we are. That's the one I wanted. Application deadlines. So my summer term has already closed, but I am still accepting applications for fall. The next deadline here is April 1st, and that is for our international students. Obviously, domestic students, you're more than welcome to apply for that deadline, but you still have another month. June 1st is your deadline. So for international students, that's just, we want to get those I-20s done, visas ready. You need to get here in the United States, which is becoming more difficult. So definitely get started on that as soon as possible. Next slide. And these are just some additional tips for the personal statement. I get a lot of questions about that. Do try to keep it to 1 page. We read so many of these. I'm sure you could write a beautiful essay, 10 pages, but I only need the 1 page. Just what interests you about the program specifically? What was your motivation? How are you going to be a good fit? Letters of recommendation, as I said, ask your recommenders early. They are probably number 1 why an application gets held up. It's because you've asked your recommenders and they haven't quite delivered yet. So make sure you get on them. You can always have them send their recommendation letter to us directly, not through the link provided to the application. Also, most important, communicate with us. Please email us, respond back to our emails if you have any questions. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We have so much information. Sometimes it can be hard to give it to you over the phone. Yes, that is pretty much it for my additional tips. International students, we are really lucky. We have a great Office of International Services for our international students. It's very comprehensive. They pretty much walk you through being a prospective student all the way up into OPT, which Dr. Church mentioned a little bit. Next. Oh, thank you. I could have sworn I got rid of them. CPT and OPT. So CPT is something that you international students can do while they're matriculating with us. This is a 1-unit course they can take during the term where they essentially get credit for getting an internship. This is, you do have to be here with us for, I believe it's 1 academic year. So unfortunately not the first term, but generally by the summer, that's when our international students can start hunting for internships. Also, it's OPT, which is, since we are a STEM designated program, most of them, you do get that extra 24 months. So you already get a year from regular OPT, you get 2 more years just from being in a STEM program. So that's a great option for our international students. You get to stay here and job hunt longer. I actually just learned recently, in order to take advantage of the OPT, you do not need to have a job right away. You get, I think it's about a month of a leeway. So that's really nice as well, because graduating can already be so stressful. Next slide. This is just a little bit more about CPT and the actual course that we have. This is, yes, definitely recommended for our international students. I tell them all the time, if you can't do a TRACS, which is probably the best option you can have, because you will make those connections with the company, with Dr. Bain, with your fellow students. If you can't get that, definitely do an internship. Let's. Oh, and I guess I'm handing it off. Thank you, Kyle.
All right. So last but not least, graduate school at USC. So I've just got some quick facts for you if you don't know much about USC. We have over 400 world-class graduate programs. Across 20 different schools, we have graduate programs. And currently we have around 28,000 graduate and professional students attending USC. So you are definitely not alone. And we have over 11,000 international students from 135 countries. What's great about this is that means that we have alumni networks set up all across the world. So if you're working in regulatory and you're looking for global jobs, we have organizations and clubs set up with USC alumni ready to help you along the way. More about life at USC. So not only do we have alumni networks all over the world, but we are one of the highest international student populations in the US when it comes to higher education. USC has some of the highest numbers. We are located right in the heart of Los Angeles, which is not just only close to the beach and close to the mountains, but we are right in the heart of the epicenter of biopharmaceutical companies, of medical device companies. So if you don't want to travel the world doing regulatory affairs, you can stay right in the heart of Los Angeles and find a lot of organizations and companies. But even while you're a student with us, we have a lot of resources and fun things to do outside of school. So we have 21 varsity sports teams. As a student, you get free tickets. So that could be you in those stands watching the fireworks in our stadium. We have over 1,000 student organizations. So whether it's about your culture or spirituality or what you like to do outside of school, we probably have a club that is all about that. So you can build your friend and network here on campus. And we have 2 campuses. So we have the Health Science campus, which is where we're located. We also have the University Park campus, and there is a free shuttle service that take students between campuses. We also have a free shuttle service that picks you up from public transportation and takes you to class, which is also nice to have. And we have a lot of intramural and club sports. So if you want to get on the field yourself, you can do that as well. We have a lot of resources for students, from health resources, recreational facilities like gyms. I know coming up is spring break. We have a resource for our students where if they're going out of town, they can park their car in one of our campus lots so that it's safe. It's for free. They can leave it there all week long. And then we also give free rides to the airport if you're going out of town for spring break. So that's just one of the many resources available to you as part of the Trojan family here. So as we're coming in towards the end, we definitely want to thank you for taking time out of your day to learn all about us, but we also want to take some time to answer any questions that we weren't able to get to. I know we got a lot of questions answered. It looked like we have 22 questions that were answered, but we have about 6 unanswered questions. And if you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section. Starting off with the first question, all the master's courses offered in health science are STEM programs with 3 years of OPT. Lee, do you want to cover this?
I was going to say I can take these. So we have 4 STEM masters under our department, which is the regulatory science, management of drug development, medical product quality, and our newest clinical trial management. We do have 1 non-STEM master's, and that's regulatory management, though that is for postdoctoral scholars. But generally, yes, our main masters, regulatory science, MDD, CTM, and MPQ are all, they do get that 24 OPT STEM extension. So it is 3 years.
All right, thank you. And our next question. So for those of us interested in the doctorate program, is there a reason why admission is conducted in alternate years? And also, second part of that question, part of the requirements talks about those in senior positions. So we require around 10 to 15 years of industry experience for the doctorate program. So can we speak more about the minimum criteria to qualify for the doctorate?
Yes, Anju, would you like to take this one?
Absolutely. So the doctorate program, the reason why we really it is open to the senior position professionals is because the doctoral program involves an original research to be conducted in regulatory science, regulatory policy research. And we need professionals who have had the time to apply their learnings and their knowledge in regulatory science and see how regulatory policy works in order for them to understand what are some of the areas that need to be researched. And the junior professionals are still gaining that experience. And they haven't been able to see regulatory policy be implemented and see where the gap in knowledge is that could be a focus area for their research. And that is the reason why we need folks with at least 10 years of field experience. The reason why we accept students every other year is because the doctoral program has a cohort of about 8 to 10 students, and the amount of work that is involved by the faculty and by the staff and by the students is such that we don't accept a lot of students. So it's a small cohort that are brought in every other year, and that cohort kind of they go through the doctoral program together. I hope this answers your question, but if you have any other questions, you can also either ask here now or we can meet separately offline.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Pacifici. Next question. How many months of CPT is considered as one unit?
I was so close to typing out the answer to that question. CBT is a 1 unit course. It depends on the length of the internship. It can be for a full semester, it can be for half semester. Generally, most students take it for the full semester because if they're getting a summer internship, it's for the whole summer. If your internship ends up going beyond a semester, then we just have you register for CPT the following semester, and it requires some updated paperwork. But it is just 1 unit for the whole semester.
Right. Thank you. Next question. I have a master's in QA/RA from another school. Would any of those courses count towards the doctorate program?
Yes, we have to go through and scrutinize your transcript and kind of map the courses to the required courses within our program. So, but there is a maximum number of units that can be transferred. I believe I believe it's 30 units at the very maximum, but oftentimes it is a subset of those courses that can be mapped.
Okay. Next question. I'm a PharmD graduate and have already used my 1 year OPT. After graduation from the USC program, am I eligible to use the STEM OPT again?
That is a good question, and I believe so. Once you
Now-
graduate from our program.
Yes, I believe so too. You can check more in detail and get back to you. Now, remember, not every master's program that we have is STEM eligible. So it is the medical product quality, management of drug development, master's in regulatory science, and the clinical trial management. I am thinking with a PharmD program, PharmD degree, that the clinical trial management might be a really good fit. Those will all be STEM eligible. The only one that is not STEM eligible is the regulatory management masters.
Right. Next question. I was wondering if you have a number for employment rate percentage for USC alumni and within how many of graduating alumni secure a job.
Well, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to track them, but whenever we have tracked them, and sometimes because the USC email address is no longer in effect after students graduate and they get a job and they have their employer email address, and then they might change jobs. But we have found that we could track them using LinkedIn. And so our university does something called a self-study to evaluate our own program. And as part of that, we look at graduates from, in the past, let's say 5 years, and we track those students down. And whenever we've done that, our percentage of employment is way up there, like above 95%. So that's kind of what we see when we have tracked them. And I don't know if other faculty have seen anything different, but yeah, but all that is to say that our graduates do quite well. Like, for example, Amelia Stinrath, whom you heard from today. She's actually an associate director now at Gilead. So if you work hard and you do well in our program and are ambitious, you will do well. And so if you do well in internship, it's like internship is like a long interview process. So why would a company who has a fabulous intern would let that intern go when they are in need of talent?
So speaking of the video with Amelia and recent graduates and where they are now in the industry, I just put a link in the chat to the full video. So that was just a small segment of a video, but if you click that link to our YouTube page, you will find a lot more recent alumni talking about what they're up to in the industry. And then also on our YouTube page, probably within the next week, you will find this info session. So if you need to come back, rewatch certain parts, then you can find that on our YouTube page there. So it looks like we have one final question. Unless we have more, feel free to put them in the Q&A section. One last question. They say, I have a bit of a background in pharmacy. I've always been interested in drug stability and dosage form in regards to regulatory considerations and calculating expiration dates, which I know is somewhat based on humidity, temperature, etc. I'm mostly asking in regards to how things may impact compounding and if that is under the purview of regulatory frameworks.
So there are two parts to that. One is the dosage form stability and manufacturing standards. For that, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Bain. Now, the other part is the compounding. So the compounding pharmacy is now under the purview of the United States FDA. But there are two forms, and I'm not going to give you a lecture here, just to say that there was a scandal by New England Compounding Pharmacy, about 10 years ago, where a bunch of people got hurt and some died. And so whenever that happens, you have a stricter regulation. And so there are two different types of compounding pharmacies that are under two different types of regulatory requirements. Let's leave it at that, and I can always give you an hour lecture, but I won't do that today. Dr. Bain, would you like to talk about the medical product quality and manufacturing? Unmute.
Sorry about that. I have a horrible frog here. Sorry. But yes, you're right that the drug stability is a big concern and a major part of the work that we do during manufacturing and during development. As you know, when we're doing, excuse me, trying to assess. Sorry.
You know what? I can take it over.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, so drug manufacturing has a really different categories in terms of the level of regulatory oversight. You have everything from manufacturing of dietary supplement that is under a certain good manufacturing practice standard, and then you have compounding pharmacy, and then you have pharmaceutical manufacturing. And whenever you change a dosage form, you have a whole set of requirements that you have to meet to make sure that that dosage form is stable, and that if it is for example, it's in a vial or a syringe, that you don't have leachables. And you can't just say, well, my product is of high quality. The reason why we have the term regulatory science is the products are regulated by demonstrating scientific evidence for safety, efficacy, and quality. So you can't just say my product is of good quality. FDA is going to be like, well, show me the data. Show me the data that it has 2 years of expiry date. Show me the data that it is stable in refrigeration or in room temperature. All of that is demonstrated through data. So it's the medical product quality degree would be perfect for anybody who is interested in pursuing compounding pharmacy or going into drug manufacturing, biologics manufacturing, or even dietary supplement manufacturing. But also now we have the added requirement for cosmetics in the United States under the new regulatory framework that will require cosmetics to be manufactured under cosmetic GMP standards.
All
Again,
right.
I can give you a lecture on that.
Yeah, we're turning it into a class lecture. I love it. All
Also,
right.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yes.
real quick. Also, taking these programs will set you up very nicely for jobs working at the FDA. So
Mhm.
something to keep in mind as well.
All right. Last question here. They say, hello, I got my Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy Science in 2024, and I am a current PharmD student who wants to pivot and have applied to the USC MS Regulatory Science program. My current GPA is 2.9, but that is including my fifth year GPA. Till fourth year, it was a 3.0 when I got my BS Pharmacy of Science. And I've also worked as pharmacy intern where I realized I am interested in regulatory science. I have already filled my application, but am I an eligible candidate?
Yes, absolutely. We review your applications holistically, every single part of them. There is no one part that is an automatic dismissal from my applications. A 2.9 is, understandable when compared to the rest of your application. We are looking at a compelling personal statement, your transcripts, letters of recommendation can go a long way as well. Yeah, don't let a number stop you from applying. There is a difference, we feel, than a fresh undergrad graduate with a 2.7 or somebody who had a 2.9 but has been in industry for the past 5 years. They're different portions hold different weight. So definitely apply, even if you're under that 3.0. The same thing goes with the English speaking. Generally, we want it to be at 100 or an IELTS 7. If you're at a 6.5 or a 90, always still apply. The worst that can happen is, you get told to try again. So definitely apply. Nobody's going to, knock down your door because you shouldn't have done that.
All right. And we have a question. I am planning to apply for fall 2025. What's the decision timeline once application is submitted?
That depends entirely on which deadline you applied to. If you've already applied, then you should have received notice by now. The next one, generally, I would say about 3 to 5 weeks from the deadline. So my next one coming up April 1st, more than likely you will hear something by the end of April, if not the beginning of May, definitely.
All right. And that concludes our Q&A section. Again, thank you all so much for taking time out of your day. We appreciate it. Feel free to not only check us out online, you'll find this info session on our YouTube page soon, but Lee also put her information in the chat. So if you'd like to reach out about application deadlines or any other questions that you might have coming up, feel free to do so. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. We're going to end the webinar now. So thank you. Goodbye now.
Bye, everyone.